Hi,
Hi there.
guys. My name is Amina K. Thornton, and you are listening to the One Up podcast. You are also watching this at amina.media. So thank you for subscribing and listening. Today is another episode of Message of Hope, stories of struggle to success with real people. And I have Tony Lucero here. Just so you guys know, this is episode 17. So if you're watching it on the replay on amina.media. You can look for this episode as episode 17. Also, as the One Up podcast, it'll be also labeled episode 17. All right, Tony is here, and I'm excited that Tony agreed to come on. I've gotten to know Tony. I don't know. I would like to say I met him officially last September, and you could just tell he was really full of energy. And him and his wife are just an amazing couple. And, they were really, I don't know, they're just amazing. They're just the perfect people that you want to know. And they're just both full of energy. And then Tony, I've also gotten to know through a meditation group that him and Ryan Blair started, I think around December. Is that right, Tony?
Oh gosh, yeah, been at least December, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. So I imagine we're going to touch base a little bit on that too today. And I'm excited. Tony is like full of energy, but he's also full of love and kindness. And I really want him just to lead us on his journey on where he wants to start and, what has he had to overcome to, be so lovable, I should
Yeah.
say. Yeah.
To
So,
be this ball of love. Yeah.
yeah. So where do you want to start?
Yeah, I guess, we all have a story, right? We all have a story. I believe that every single person on this planet has a best-selling novel and a major motion picture as part of their life. And mine is no different. And my mom, at a very young age, really wasn't really good at the relationship thing. And so she was married, I think 4 times, maybe 5 times. I don't know.
Oh,
It,
okay.
it was a lot.
Yeah.
And so I learned at a very young age on how to kind of like adapt to different environments and different situations. And the person that really raised me, my stepfather, which was my second dad, he
Now, were
was
you the only
very
child
influential.
too?
No, I had
You
an
had
older
siblings?
brother and a sister, and then later in life I had a younger brother that joined us. So there was
Okay.
there was four.
Okay. So you were basically going through these relationships with your siblings as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we were
That's
small.
odd.
We were tiny. We were just kind of, just rolling with it, rolling with the punches, so to speak. And then,
Yeah.
the second person that she married was a person that I'm sure a lot of people have had in their life. It was the person that might have been belittling, didn't really give you those words of encouragement as you wanted as a kid. He was like, you're stupid, you're never amount to anything, and stuff like that. Like things like, I'm only with you because your mother, or things like that. So as a
Oh,
5-year-old, these
no.
are words you don't want to hear. These are things
No,
you don't want to be
definitely.
experiencing.
Definitely. And maybe not even as a child, maybe later in life you've experienced, like the people listening experience people like this. I know we all had to run into somebody like this that,
Oh,
yeah, just wants to
it's
put that
worse when you're
negativity,
older.
Yeah,
It's worse
yeah,
when
it
you're
does.
older. When you're younger and you just don't even know any difference. Like,
That's
okay, I
true.
guess I am. I
Yeah.
guess I am.
Yeah. When you're older,
But
you're like,
as we become teenagers, it's like, when somebody says that, it pierces you. It pierces the skin, goes right in there, and it's damaging. That's why a lot of kids
yeah.
have troubles, in high schools because of people's, the words that they say and the meaning behind them, right? So
I think we
I
have
just grew
more
up in,
realization what they mean when we're older. But when we're younger, we don't
yeah,
really associate a meaning with it until we get older and understand, the knowledge behind it, I guess, and where
yeah.
that stands. Yeah.
Yeah, when you have these things called feelings and things like that, and you have I'm a hypnotherapist, so I know how the mind works. And one of the things is I know that from the time you're born to about the time you're 11, this period of time is your subconscious mind is just taking everything in, everything in, everything in, everything, your environment, the people in it, the words, the feelings, all of that. And by the time you get 11 or 12, that's when that becomes like your knowing. And when somebody says something when you're 11 or 12, it stings, like it hurts a lot. So because of the way that you were brought up. So it's really interesting how we hold on to things. And I didn't know any better. And so my whole young life was spent traveling around different states and different schools, and my mom trying to find roots somewhere. And we finally found roots in Houston, Texas, when I was in junior high, and went through high school.
So she already went
just to,
four marriages before you were in junior high, right?
yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
yeah, that's
yeah,
quite a bit.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm actually in high school was number 4, I believe. Yeah. High
Okay.
school
My
was the,
grandmother was the same way. I think she was married like 4 or 5 times too. So yeah, I remember she was
yeah.
always trapped, somewhere else, and it was hard to keep track of her. Like, where's she at now? Who's she with now? So yeah, what's she doing?
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I just thought it was normal. Like, as a kid,
Yeah,
I
it
was
was.
like, okay,
I
my
actually
mom.
thought it was
Yeah. It's just,
exciting. Like, oh, where's she going now? Who's she with? So,
yeah.
yeah.
And even to this day, people say, God, Tony, where are you going now? What are you doing now? What's going on with you now? Because it's just part of who I am. Like, I'm a traveler. I'm unable to sit still for more than, how long is this call we're doing today? An hour?
An
Like an
hour.
hour. Like, I'm
Yeah.
unable to sit still.
Oh, I'm the same way. Believe me, this coronavirus, I'm just like, I can't believe I've been in my house for 6 months. I can't believe it's like,
I know.
he's so crazy. It's like the garden is not open. I can't even go to the botanical garden.
Oh, I know. I know.
I can't take my
So
RV
they got
anywhere. Like the RV places aren't like a fully open here. And it's like, oh.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, I have an RV, I've got a Jeep. So if I need to get off the grid, I just go. But
Yeah.
then went to high school, got out of high school, went to the Air Force because I didn't know what I wanted to do, and I didn't want my mother to raise 4 kids by herself. She was single at that time, so I said, you know what, I'm just going to go join this thing called the military, which I learned a lot about myself. I learned a lot about life. I learned a lot about discipline and focus and paying my own bills and filling out my own checkbook and doing my own
Yeah.
laundry at a very young age, so it was nice. It was a good
So
experience.
so what age did you start that? 17, 18?
I went in when I was 17. So my mom had to sign for
Oh,
me at
wow.
17. And then, in 1984, after I graduated from high school, I went straight into the military. So,
Wow.
it was fun. It was a
Good.
learning
I'm
experience,
glad.
but it was
I'm
there I
glad.
really kind of developed some like really interesting attributes that I still continue to use this day, which was the discipline and staying focused and honoring something, honoring yourself. Military is all about honoring whatever. So for me, it was about I really understood how to honor myself and just really acknowledge my energy. And I became this person of energy. Like people know me, like me. It's like
Yeah.
I'm always in a state of energy and positivity. My number one strength finder is positivity. So I worked really hard to make sure that I'm honoring my state. I'm honoring what I think and what I feel. And obviously this hope is such a beautiful thing because we have to have a degree of hope in our lives. Otherwise, what are we here for?
Yeah.
If we're not
Yeah.
anticipating something beautiful to happen or come, then what are we doing? What are we
Yeah.
doing?
And it's
And this
really
virus.
the story behind it is you have to make that. It's not something
Oh yeah,
that you're thrown into. And that's why it's
yeah,
also called struggle to success, because it's a
yeah,
struggle to get that message, right? To get to that place of hope. You really got to put effort out there to get there. And I think
yeah.
a lot of people think it's just going to be like they're going to wake up one day and it's going to like magically everything's going to fall in place. And we all wish that, yeah, but it's still it's a mindset. You've got to strive for it every single day. So
Yeah, I mean, it's I do a lot of coaching and teaching. I'm teaching a class right now to a bunch of wonderful folks, and the whole idea is you have to, it's a mindset, it's a heart set. For me, I'm all about energy, I'm all about vibration. So it's an energy that you put out. It's the law of manifestation, it's the law of attraction, it's those types of things, that you're wishing and wanting to have happen in your life. And for some people, there's actually kind of a negative connotation around the word hope as well. Like some people, like when I was a hypnotist, people would come to me and say, "Hey, Tony, I've tried everything. Can you help me with this? Can you help me with smoking? Can you help me with,
oh,
the
okay, yeah, I've
whatever?"
heard of
And
that
they would come
before,
to me,
like addictions or something. Yeah, they go to
yeah,
hypnosis for, yeah.
yeah, like smoking was a big thing. Weight loss was a big thing.
Yeah.
So they would come to me, "I hope you can help me." Like I'm their last straw. I'm the last
Yeah.
resort. And that's kind of an interesting thing because it shouldn't be the last thing, Well, when all else fails, then well, at least you've got
True.
hope. Like hope
True.
should be part of it should
True.
just be part of who you are,
That's
It's like it
true.
should be a
You're at,
positive thing,
yeah.
not a negative thing. And a lot of people, it has a negative undertone because it's like it's the last thing that they're hoping for. And it really shouldn't be like that.
Yeah,
Does
I
it make
see. I
sense?
see. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Where yeah, it's like this is it. This is my last thing. And like you said, it's funny with the whole hypnotist and smoking because my dad actually has been a smoker since I don't know since he was like 15, and he went to
Yeah.
hypnotist once to
Yeah.
try to quit, but he never went back because he would have nightmares and stuff. And he was just like, I'm done. I'm done. I'm gonna smoke forever. Whatever. I don't care. You know.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's a two-way street. You know, you have to really want it, and then, like you said, you have to work on it. You've got to put
Yeah.
your effort in it too. So when did you start the hypnotherapist? So you went. You what form of military were you in again?
I was in the Air Force,
Air Force.
and I
Okay.
spent five and a half years there. And then when I got out, I realized as soon as I went in that I was a terrible follower. So it's like, and here I am for 5.5 years being told exactly what my hair needs to look like, what my
That's
uniform needs to
true.
look like. I can travel, I can't travel. But I learned a lot about patience and things like that. So when I got out, I said, okay, I'm not doing anything that resembles what I just went through. So I
Yeah.
chose careers where I was doing like outside sales, or I had freedom. I had, straight commission type jobs. And then I got
Yeah.
into training companies. I've always had the ability to kind of speak the truth and help people digest information very easily. So I became like a corporate trainer and a consultant, and got into some side businesses on the side from home and did very well there. And then just one thing led to another. And I was at a turning point in my life where I was asking myself, like I'm sure a lot of you people have, people listening, and I'm sure you have, like, is this it? Like, what else is there for Tony? Like, is this what I'm supposed to be doing? Is just
Yeah.
this? And
Yeah.
started asking that question, hoping to find an answer. And,
Yeah, that's true. No,
and
yeah, I think we do. We all get to that point. It's like, is this all? It's like this doesn't
yeah.
seem satisfying or fulfilling in a way. What else can I do? What else can I do? And then trying to fill that
Yep.
gap. Yeah.
Yep. And then I went to Las Vegas with Rhonda and I were in Las Vegas, and, fate had it that the universe put some people in our lives, and a decision that changed my life forever, which was, we were deciding on what show to go to. And we've seen all the Circus Soleil shows. We've seen all the magic shows. And there was a show called Hypnosis Gone Wild.
Huh.
And out of all the things, I said, we should go see this show. And she's like, what is it? And I go, it's like a guy, he gets on stage and he does things and people quack like chickens and whatever. And so, and she goes, you really want to go see that? I go, yeah, I feel like I need to. And we're there and we're standing in line buying our ticket, and I get a tap on my shoulder, and it happens to be the guy that's doing the performing. He's just kind of talking to the crowd and stuff like that before the show. And I said something, Amanda, that is really interesting. As he was talking, I said, I would love to learn to do what you do. And the second I said that, he goes, well, come see me after the show.
Oh,
And I went,
interesting.
okay.
You're like,
So we met
really?
with him after
Okay,
the show.
awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was one of those things
Wow.
where he was kind of putting my life like right there at that moment.
Yeah.
And so we met after the show. It was like 1 o'clock in the morning. And he goes, next day, let's go to lunch. So we went to lunch with him the next day. And he goes, I've been thinking about you all night. And he goes, I want to teach you everything that I know. And I went,
Wow.
what?
That's
And I
powerful.
go,
Yeah.
and he goes, I'm going to charge you nothing. I believe in you. There's something special about you. And I believe that you will
Do
follow through with
this.
what I'm telling you to do.
Yeah.
So he told me to read this book, do this thing, and one thing led to another. 4 months later, I was on the road on tour as a
Wow,
hypnotist, as a comedy stage.
doing what he does, right?
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
really
And he was
cool.
performing in Vegas. Yeah, he was performing in Vegas. They're obviously full time, and then once in a while he'd get a corporate gig. And I started taking a lot of his. He started giving me a lot of his work. He realized I had some skills. Next thing you know, for 10 years I'm on the road as a comedy stage hypnotist. So,
Wow. That
you
was
know,
an adventure, wasn't it?
it happened really fast. The universe works very fast. So for those that are wanting something to happen in their life, a change, you're manifesting something, when the time is right, when it happens, you better hang on, because
You better be
it will
ready.
happen fast.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you're hoping for something and you put energy there, positive, loving energy into that, when the time is right for you, it will happen. You just got to recognize that this is a sign, this is a moment, this is an opportunity, and you got to go. You can't mull around and go, whoa, wait a second. Not right now. I'm not ready right now. Hold on. Let's just
I
wait
totally
another
agree
week.
with
No.
that, actually. Yeah, I totally agree with that. In fact,
Yeah.
how we got to met, we both know
Yeah.
Colton, and
Yeah.
it was through the actual statement "I am." So I was
Yeah.
really into the whole mindset and thing like that. And then I met Colton on Instagram through his tattoo. I was like, hey, that's really cool. I've been, connected to this statement. And it brought me into the company that we're both a part of. And
Yeah, sure.
but then I was just like, it's the timing's not right. I got all this stuff and I don't know I don't know what I want to do. And like, cause I was at the time I was traveling, I just got my RV, I was traveling and I was just like, you know what? It feels right. I want to do it. And screw it. And you have to just take the risk. You have to just be open to change, really. And I was right at the time, I was like, I need something else. I want something else, I need to get out of my comfort zone. Right. And so when the opportunity presents itself in whatever form that is, you
Yeah.
better be ready because, it'll come again, but it might be way later, and
Yeah.
so, definitely take advantage of it. So yeah,
Yeah,
that's
it's
cool.
one of those things. And my biggest lesson I can give people, it's like people that put themselves in a place like you did, where you wanted something. There was something that you were anticipating happening in your life, whether it be a change in a career, a lifestyle, a place to live, whatever it is for you. And it's crazy. We put this energy out there, right? So we put all this positive stuff, like I want this to happen. And then when something happens so off the normal, or it
Yeah.
doesn't happen the way that we want it to happen, like we feel that it should happen, it catches us off guard, and then we fight it still. Like you said,
That's
like, oh, hold
true.
on, wait a
That's
second.
true.
And
Wait,
we go through
wait.
this
Yeah.
battle. And the biggest thing we need to learn from this is like, look, if you're going to put it out there, if you're going to say, hey, I want this, I'm seeking this, I need this, I'd love to change this, and you put it out there, you have to be ready for the sign and the
Yeah.
message, because
True.
it's going to come not the way that you're expecting it. Like if you say, hey, I want to move to California, you're not going to have somebody knock on your door that's a realtor from California and you live in Texas saying, hey, guess what? You know what? It's like, no, you have to, it could be something so crazy. It could be a connection through a
It
connection through a
really
connection. Also, you're
can.
talking to
Yeah.
somebody who lives in California, and the place that you want to happens to be a realtor, and their next door neighbor just put their house up. And, it's got to
Or
happen
they're
really
like, or they do this
weird.
like a weird, like, hey, let's do a house trade. Cause I've heard of those too. Like, I want to be on that coast and you want to be on that. And you want to just switch places. And it's like,
Yeah.
okay. It's like, wait, just go for it. So,
It's got to be out of the norm. And then
yeah.
then what happens is, once it happens, you have to like say, wow, okay. And then you got to go. Otherwise, like you said, it's going to be it could be another 6 months, could be another year, could be another decade before you get that
That
opportunity again.
opportunity
It's
again.
like
Yeah.
when the door opens, you got to go in. So if you're out there hoping for something, if you're out there praying for something, if you're out there attempting to manifest or attract something into your life, and you've been doing it for a while, whether it be with a career, a relationship, whatever it is for you, guidance, clarity on something, be prepared, because when it comes, it will not probably come the way that you're going. If it's perfect, and I'll get if it sounds just like this or looks just like this.
Yeah.
The
Sometimes it's
guy
kind
that
of
I'm
scary
after,
though, too. Sometimes it's like, oh my
yeah,
God, I can't believe that just happened. Like, seriously. And then you just like take it back. Like, what did I just wish for? Wait, like it
exactly.
really like came true. Like, and it's
Be
that could be
careful
like,
what you wish
yeah,
for.
exactly. Ain't it though? Sometimes you're just like, I can't believe that really happened. Like I put it out there, I put the energy out there, or I said this and it happened. And you're just like, all right, that's, you're backing it up in your head and you're just like, wait, okay, that really did work.
Yeah.
So sometimes can catch you totally off guard too. So
Yeah,
yeah.
and it will the first few times that you go into the space and you play around with it, right? So, programming a parking spot, when it's really busy on a Sunday or something like that, like little things like that you can actually really do,
Yeah.
that, when you start to do it on a regular basis, then you embrace it and then you accept it and then you don't battle it anymore. It's funny. My
Yeah.
wife and I, we're so into this idea of what our energy and what we want to attract in our lives, and the things that we're hoping to have happen. And it's crazy when they happen. We both laugh like, God, that was just nuts. Like,
Yeah.
we're looking for a house right now, and every house that we have looked at has gotten us closer to like this thing that we're envisioning. It's
Envisioning.
like the one, yeah, the
Yeah.
one we looked at yesterday. I was like, oh my gosh, on 10 acres, no neighbors.
Wow.
Ooh,
Yeah.
ooh.
Yeah. It's so close.
So
It's
we're getting closer and closer and closer. Yeah.
that's really cool. Yeah. Yeah. So that's neat.
So you just have to embrace it. And, it's a game well worth playing. It's a game well worth understanding. And, again, if you're going to go into and hope for something or want something or desire something in your life, and you truly have the right intent behind that, Once the universe knows this is exactly what you are needing at the time in your life, it's going to give it to you. You got to be ready.
Yeah.
And you just got to embrace it. Like you said, take a risk. It's really not even a risk because there are calculated things that have happened in order for that one thing to happen, for it to show up. So there's plenty of things that have happened well before that have been lined up so that when you do make that step, when you do make that jump, that you're going to look back and go, oh my God, that was nothing.
Yeah.
Like that was,
yeah.
you know,
And I want to put
what
in
was
here
I
too.
thinking? What was I holding on to?
What's that? Yeah, we're
What was I holding on
Yeah,
to?
exactly.
Yeah.
And then I like to like put in here too. I can't remember. It was a comedian. What was his name? Well, anyhow, he went and he wanted to, it was a really famous guy. I can't think of his name right now, but he said, he always had a dream of being like a stand-up comedian, a DJ. And so he worked for this radio company, like serving coffee, and he did that for 6 years. But as he was there, he was learning everything he could about how the station runs, how the buttons work, asking questions every day. And then he said one day the main guy got drunk and he stayed home and passed out, and he couldn't get him into work. And the head CEO was just like, hey, can you call him up or whatever? And he's like, I'm not calling him up. I just got, just said, I can't get a hold of him. I can't get a hold of him now. And so he's like, well, you've been around long enough. You know how to run the equipment? He's like, oh yeah. He said, when I got on that machine, I knew exactly what I was going to say, exactly how I was going to say it. And so he knew that it was coming, that his time was coming. And that opened up his world.
That's not Howard Stern, is it?
Yeah. No, it wasn't Howard Stern. No,
okay,
it wasn't Howard Stern. It was somebody. Like, it was somebody else. I just can't think of the name right now, but it'll come to me later. So yeah. So
yeah. Opportunity and preparation. Opportunity and preparation. Some people call it luck, but it's when those two meet. Opportunity and preparation meet. That's when you get lucky. Oh, you got so lucky, Tony. No, I was preparing, and the opportunity presented itself, and
Yeah, and that's what you do. So, you do a lot of this now too, right? I know you do. Yeah. What is it called? The 5 pillars, right? Is that?
Yeah, I have a class that I teach that. Yeah, it's called the 5 Pillars of Purpose, and it's literally like my life's work. The last 30 years of me attempting to figure out life, and how do I, like, people look at me and go like, how do you stay in the state that you do all the time? And I started going back and attempting to figure out, like, what is it about me that, because I had a really troubled childhood. I didn't have the greatest things. I've had business failures. I've had relationship failures. I've had experiments, I like to call them, that didn't go as like the way I wanted them to, and learn from those. And what is it about my energy that, that people are gravitating to? And I wrote a book about it. I tried to write a book about it, failed at that. I had to have a couple more things happen before, and then I finally ended up writing a book. But for me, it's like,
so this is book 2 that I see. I did see some book that you showed.
Yeah, I had. Well, book one is this one, How to Get Condor. This is kind of my
I haven't got that yet. I gotta get that one.
But 5 Pillars is literally everything I know in 5 different buckets, and in these buckets, there are certain things you have to have in place. Otherwise, the bucket's got a hole in it. And if the bucket's got a hole in it, you really can't get from what I call your current life, which is the life that you and I are living right now. Yeah, everything that's in it, all of the bills that we have, the environment, the house, all the stuff, that's our current life. But we all have this desired life that we want, that we desire, that we're hoping for, right? So what do you have to remove? What do you have to add? What do you have to get rid of? What do you have to, do to get from here to here? And that's what the 5 Pillars is. It's literally that stepping stone, that vehicle that bridges the two together. Okay. And it's everything from meditation. It's everything from the breath work that I do. It's everything from my environment to the foods I eat. It's all these things in a course. And I'm really, really excited about it. We've had a lot of people go through. I've been teaching it for years to corporations, but now it's available to everybody.
Online
because it's
now,
time.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. People are in a really interesting place right now because of COVID. And it's like, all this external stuff that we used to be so attached to doesn't exist anymore the way that we used to be attached to it. The nightclubs, the sporting events. And so it's allowed us all to really go within and find that peace and that happiness and that joy inside. And the 5 Pillars is perfect because it's an inside job. Everything I teach is all inside. And when you're happy here and you're flourishing here and you're abundant in here and you got love in here and energy in here, everything else is beautiful.
Yeah.
Everything.
And that's
everything on the
too.
outside is a bonus.
Yeah, that's very important too that you say, especially during this time, like you pointed out, is because a lot of people's dynamics changed like
Mhm.
drastically this last, we'll
Yep.
say 6 months, and it's going to continue to change because things aren't normal, and I don't see them technically getting normal maybe till like start of next year, maybe. But even like I know our schools here. I mean, my kids don't go to school; they've never been, but I see from other, people that are in school, they're like saying that they're going to be separating them like 10 feet apart. They're going to have to wear masks when they first come in. I'm like, how bizarre is that? Especially with kids entering school or like went through a divorce or, moving schools. And now they don't have that personal connection either. So they're going to feel more depressed, more
Yeah.
lonely, more, stressed out. And I just really feel bad for the kids, honestly, in general, because
Yeah.
it's a lot to deal with. It's a whole new dynamic. And then parents have to, of course, be strong for them as well and have that structure. So yeah, it's very important. It's very awesome that you are providing your service to everybody. So, strengthen the parents and hopefully they'll be able to
Yeah.
strengthen the kids. So yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, at this time, I can't imagine being a kid right now, having to go through this thing that's being played right now.
me either.
It's frustrating to grow up in a COVID world. It's just ridiculous, and it's unfortunate. I went into a place yesterday and they wouldn't let me in to go buy a product because I didn't have a mask on, and I just walked out. I'm like, this is like, so for me as an adult, it's frustrating.
It
For a
is, yeah.
kid who needs that interaction, that needs that connection with their kids.
Because they just
You
they
know,
they need to build that. It's a life skill. They need to have interaction with people, adults and other kids, and they're not
yeah.
having that right now. That's gonna affect our future. This part of our life is gonna affect our generation to come. And then and that concerns me definitely because my kids are at that age. I mean, literally, we've hardly been anywhere in the last 6 months because there's nothing open. Their gym is closed. One of their gyms have closed down. So that was their meeting place where they met their friends and stuff.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
even the social places, you can only have what, 10. Well, here in Virginia it's 10 per group, and I'm like, well, how are they supposed I mean, there's 3 of them. If I go with them, that's 4 people. And it's like, okay, well, who do we bring with us? Who do we know? It's all these new
Yeah.
dynamics. Yeah.
It's crazy. I don't, I have, we can spend a whole 7 webinars on how
Yeah.
I feel about this, but the reality is we have to, right now at this moment, the lesson we have to learn from all of this, I hope that we get it, because until we get it, there'll be another thing that's going to present itself. Until we get it, there'll be another thing
Yeah.
to present itself. So this is
Yeah.
a true test of humanity. It's a true test of our spirit, of our will, of our patience, at a really, really deep level. So we'll get through it.
We will.
We have to get through we have to get through, it's crazy. It seems we have to get through elections and things like that in order for the dust to settle a little bit. So it's going to be bumpy for the next couple months for sure. But we've already adapted. We're
That's
already
true.
settled in, and everybody's adjusted. And what will keep us together is the hope of a nation, the hope of humanity, and all of this keeping us moving forward despite whatever's being thrown at us.
Yeah, stick with the positivity, especially with
You
people
got
like
to.
you, like me, like a lot of our people in our network. If we all just like keep, speaking out and saying, "Hey, it's going to be okay," we'll get
Yeah.
through this, and it will. It will. The message will spread, and it'll make everybody stronger. So, you said that you went through a lot of coping when you were moving as well. Is there anything that really stood out, as growing up that people can relate to? And then how'd you get past that? Like,
Yeah. This is like one of the things that I teach in my class, because I feel like we as humans, we hang on to so much and we're affected by so much. And when somebody says something like you're stupid, or when somebody says something like, you're terrible at this, we take it personally. And what I've learned in my life is, and I write about it in my book and I talk about it in my class, is like, whatever somebody's going through and they throw something at you like that, it's their reality, not yours. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's their perception, not yours. It's
Yeah.
their challenge they're dealing with in their life, not yours. And when my stepfather used to tell me every day that he hated me, that he thought I was stupid, there was something inside me, like my heart, my soul kind of said, wait a second, like, I don't feel like I'm that person. And this must be something that he's dealing with. Even as a kid, I felt like that. And as I
Yeah.
gotten older, when somebody cuts you off on the road, when somebody, you're standing in line and somebody cuts in front of you and has a word to say with you or something like that, or he says something rude, it's like, there's something that person's going through at a deep level that causes them to react a certain way. And once I realized that it's not about me, if my intent is to be a better version of myself every day, if my intent is to be a loving person and see the good in everything, then I'm going to get tested. And when the test comes from somebody or something or an event, I have my choice to respond how I want to accept that. And I choose to see things as lessons. I choose to see things as an opportunity for me to grow. Yes, it affects me. Yes, it stings. But I always go back to the thing is, that's their story, not mine. That's their story, not mine. You know what I'm saying? That
Yeah.
person, like, I'm just grateful, but that I'm not a person that's in a bad place like that I've got to pop off on somebody,
On
that I've
somebody
got to
else.
cut
Yeah.
somebody off and give them the bird and all this stuff, and they have my whole day ruined because, so I realized that at a young age. And so my guidance to everybody that's listening to this and the things I teach is like, somebody's going through something, and how you respond to how they're going through something is going to really dictate the quality of your life, because somebody's always going to be going through something. The government's always going to be doing something. The weather's always going to change, and how you are affected by everything that's happening around you really is part of how you move through your life. So for those people that have people in their lives that are damaging, that are hurtful, that have said wrong or done you wrong, is be grateful that that person's not you. Be grateful that their story that they're telling themselves, the thing that they're dealing with, is not yours. And just give them, wish them love, wish them the best, quietly, whatever. And you'll make peace with it, and you'll be able to move on. You'll be able to adjust. And it's very difficult for people to do, because we as humans, we have hold on to so much. There's
Yeah.
so much that we hold on to from the time that we're born, from the time, even now. Oh, I hate my job. I hate the relationship I'm in. My uncle did this. My father did this. My sister's, she's a loser. Like, there are people that talk like this, and
And
just be
sometimes it
grateful that that's
draws us back too. Sometimes we hit like, something, at least in my own story, where an obstacle came and then it drew me back to those memories.
yeah,
And I'm like, well, why is that? What happened to my mindset where I was like all positive, on this right track, knew exactly what I was doing, knew exactly where I'm going. And now like it stopped, because this obstacle, and I'm getting like all the negative come back, flowing back. And I'm like, I don't want to be
yeah,
there. I'm past that.
yeah.
That was like years ago, like, why am I even looking at that stuff? And this is all mental. This is all mental things. It's not
It
like
is.
physically looking at things or anything. Yeah.
Yeah, well, and there's things that we have at our disposal. Those tools that I teach that can help people. Breath work is a great thing. When you feel something coming on, you feel that doubt coming on, you feel that pressure coming on, you feel the angst, the anger. It's like there's things that you can do that you can immediately diffuse the situation and go,
Yeah.
whoa, wait a second. And you take a breath and you sit for a second, or you change your state. You go, you put your book down and you go for a walk and
Yeah, I do
reconnect
that a
with what the
lot. I
truth.
do that a lot.
Yeah, with
Yeah,
what the truth is.
go for a walk.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because so those are little stingers. We call those stingers. Those are little, once you get going down the path, once you go into the path of lightness and you become this bright light, the darkness wants to play with you still. It still wants to kind of test you to see where you're at, right? And so it's
See
like,
where your
it's the
growth
doubt,
level
it's the
is.
thing. Exactly. Yeah. So you have to understand that that's part of the growth process, that there's good, there's bad, there's light, there's dark. And so when the lighter you become, the more darkness wants to kind of play in there. And eventually the darkness just says, oh my gosh, Amina, she's bulletproof. Let's go pick on somebody else. Let's just go
And
find
you
somebody
feel
else to
that
play with.
way. The more like negative people enter your life, and the more you see the pattern, you're just like, oh,
Yeah.
this is just like so and so and so and so and so and so before them, and I see
Yeah.
the pattern. They're hurting. But that's not me. That's not who I feel. I'm not feeling that same kind of hurt as I was before, because I've learned. I
Yeah.
grew. I see the
Yeah.
pattern now, and I don't need to play into that, and I could just move on. So yeah, you do. It
Yeah.
is a good thing to have in your life. Those negative I know it's not good, but you know what I mean? Where, you
Oh
know,
no.
where you have to experience it to really grow. You have to experience it to really understand it and, you know, get stronger because of it. So,
Yeah, I mean, if I can,
yeah.
I cannot imagine a life where you don't have dysfunction happening, where you don't have disappointment happening, where you don't have failure present all around you. Like I can't even imagine living a life where it's just beautiful. It's banjos and rainbows all day. Like that's, that just makes no sense. Like where
Yeah.
can I develop me as a person if everything is just so beautiful? Now,
Yeah.
do I see things as beautiful? Do I see something that potentially is damaging as an opportunity that is beautiful? Yes. But if everything was just perfect every single day, it's like, oh, you guys would get sick of it. You'd go,
Yeah,
gosh,
you're boring.
I wish it
It's
was,
so
right?
boring.
I
What
wish
am I
something would
doing?
happen.
Something has to
Yeah.
happen. We
So,
need some conflict. This is actually
yeah.
funny. I heard
Somebody
this the
come in and
other
yell at me.
day.
Somebody come.
Yeah, actually heard this the other day, and I was like, "That's so right." It was like, you know, if Batman didn't have the villains, then who would Batman be? You know, and I'm like, you know, that's kind of right. You know, like who would you be? You can't be the hero if you don't have the villains, right? You
Yeah.
don't have
Yeah.
that opposite play, right? So it's like, you know, that's kind of true. You know, you can't level up to that kind of skill level. You can't really honor yourself, you know, until you know, overcome those obstacles, whatever they may be, you know, the villains or, you know, or just life situations, you know. And
Yeah.
yeah, so yeah, it's interesting thinking of it that way. It's like, yeah, you know,
I mean,
I
can you
get
imagine being Superman? Can you imagine being Superman and never be able to open his chest and go save
that.
somebody? It's
He
I
works
got
at the
all these
newspaper
powers.
forever. He's a clerk behind the desk, you know.
He'd be
Who'd be
bored.
excited?
Yeah, he'd be bored. Same thing with all of us. We need to have flow and energy flowing through us, whether it be, you know, energy that we feel is terrible or negative. It's all your perception of it, right? So
Yeah.
we have to have that. That's what strengthens. And the great thing about, you know, when you think of the idea of hope and healing and things like that is now I have the ability because of that experience to give people hope, to help heal people, which is what I really want to do. The rest of my life I'm going to spend in the pursuit of helping and healing people and
Me
giving
too.
people,
Yeah.
like, people always come to me and go, God, I just wish I had as much energy in your pinky as you have, you know, like I wish I had that, like as much as you have in your finger, you know.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I can give people hope and I can help heal people and teach them things that will allow them to feel what that feels like. So we need to have that. We need teachers like you and me. We need people to step
We
out
do.
into their greatness with whatever skill that they love to share and do, and start sharing that with people.
Yeah,
You
and
know,
I
and the
like how
only way
you
they can do
said,
that is because they had to learn it. They had to learn. I
yeah,
had to learn how to talk in front of groups. I had to learn how to write a book. I had to learn how to teach.
that's true.
So I learned all that so I could teach and help and give people hope, you know?
Oh yeah, definitely. And I love how you said the energy behind that, because that's really everything in this world is energy. Everything.
Everything.
We don't see it, but it's there. It's just like air, and everything's connected with that energy. And with that, you know, you can take it good or bad. You know, there's two sides, and whatever you focus more your time on is where it's going to be stronger.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I forgot where I was going to go with that. But yeah, so you've got the book that you have, right? And then you said that you're making another book. Is that what it is?
I want to, I really want to hone in on energy.
Okay.
Energy is, like you said, it's everywhere and everything, you know, walking along the beach and all of a sudden you're drawn to a rock,
Yeah.
right? Just
Yeah.
an
Oh
inanimate
my
rock in our
God.
mind. You're
You
drawn to
know
that
how
rock.
many
There's
rocks
energy
my
behind
kids think I'm
it.
crazy. I stop at like all
Yeah.
these rocks, and I like I literally have a cabinet full of rocks. I love rocks. I've always have. And yeah, is
Yeah.
something about it.
It's a rock, but the energy is in that rock because it attracted
Yeah.
you to it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So my next project is going to really write. My next course is going to be on energy. My next book is going to be on energy, on really how to be so present of it. And the second your energy shifts, knowing exactly what to do, know exactly what modality, or know exactly how to change your state. And that's important for people because some people will have something happen to them and they start this downward cycle, and they attempt to get out of it, and they try for a little bit, and it goes down. And eventually, when you're down in this hole for a period of time, you don't have that energy to come out of it. And then you start succumbing to things like being medicated and all the self-doubt and all the stuff creeps. And then you get sick, and then, you become a victim of your own, your own personality.
Demise in a way. Yeah. You're your own worst enemy. And that's
yeah.
over and over and over. Yeah. There is that. It is all not only energy, but like you said, you get in this rut or this down place, and you feel like a failure, or you feel like there's no way out. But when you start feeling that way, and I've seen this even when I've gone through like traumatic things in my life, because I journal a lot, I self-reflect a lot, like every single day. I think I spend like 4 hours just thinking about like how I react to things and situations, and ask myself why a lot. And so when you get to that place at the bottom and you feel like you can't get out, you get stuck there. And it's the whole Newton's law, right? It's the whole like where there's you have to, what is that quote? I can't even think of it right now, but you have to put motion behind it. And without the motion, you're never going to go anywhere. So you're going to stay stagnant. And then if you stay stagnant long enough, the natural law around us is going to take over, and basically you're dying. You're dying. You're not moving. You're not growing. You're dying at this point. Yes, we're all dying, but no, you're actually giving up in life. And what happens to animals, plants, everything that gives up and stops like striving to hang on to that last bit of life, it dies. It gets disease, it gets tired, it gets like you said, it clings to things that are not healthy for it, and it's a vicious cycle, when you get down where you can't even get that little piece of light, that little piece of hope to get out of that space. And so, this book that you're going to be doing on energy is going to be awesome. So,
it's like a slow IV drip, the quality of your life is diminished. You're surviving by this little drop that's dropping into your vein. It's like, it's just such a terrible way to live. And I at 11 years old, I made the decision I was going to be happy, because I knew what sadness was like. I knew what depression was like. I knew what being miserable was like. And so that decision to be happy, every decision I've ever made in my life is in the pursuit of happiness. And as long as I stay in that lane, as long as the people I surround myself with, the people that I'm engaged with, the connections I make, the jobs I decide to do, if long as they provide a degree of happiness for me, I'm good. Yeah. So, and the second something comes into my life that doesn't feel happy or doesn't feel good, I'm a real feeling person, not a thinking person. The people I teach them to go from the head to their heart. So if I feel something's not the right thing, I'm not going to do it. If I don't feel I should go to that person's birthday party, because I'm not there physically, I don't. And I'm okay with that, because if I go there, I'm going to be miserable. I'm not going to serve anybody if I go there just because I have to be there. So
that's very important. That's very important.
It really is.
So you're touching on like not only boundaries, but you're also touching on surrounding yourself with those energies that is going to provide you the support system that's going to grow you, and that's very important to anybody that's listening to. If anybody that is in your life that you don't feel comfortable with, that you're just keeping around just because you've known them for many years, let it go. You'll be in such a better place when you start surrounding yourself with better people, that you'll be like, why did I take this long? Why was I scared to say, I don't agree with this. I don't like being like this. And you'll just be in such a beautiful place once you get over that hurdle, and just like, start deleting, start filtering, and start saying, okay, I'm done.
Yeah, it's such a powerful thing when you're able to do that. It's like you're liberating yourself from a chain, or something that's an anchor of some sort, right? Yeah. And the second you do it, you go, oh my gosh, that felt good, and then you want to do it again. I teach on how to clean your environment. There's that thing in your house that you probably have right now that you see it all the time, and it's still there. And you're like, I do the same thing. You go, oh, how come I've not gotten rid of that yet?
So I actually taught a class about this. I do these things that now they actually have a name. It's called night classes. And I talk about mindset and success building and stuff like that. And one of my subjects I talked about is, even the objects around, like, if you hate that chair, just throw it away. Just don't even worry about donating it. Just be like, just haul it off. And same with your clothes. Like your clothes. If you go in your closet and you feel like stressed out, just start like throwing everything away. I don't care. Just, you need to get it out of your environment as fast as possible. Because once you do, and you can actually just love the stuff that you actually have, and surround yourself with things that actually bring you that positive energy, then you're going to feel a lot more relief. Because, you know, the environment's important too. And same with sounds. Sounds are very important. Light is a very important.
Yeah.
So
That's
I
why I have
imagine.
all my sound behind me. You can see all my sound here.
Yeah, your sound
I have all
equipment.
my
That is,
sound.
I
That's how I heal
love that.
myself right there.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
love that.
that's how
And
I heal
Tony's
myself is
amazing with those things. I don't even know what they're called. I never seen them before
I
until
don't
I
either.
met Tony. I'm just like, I've seen a couple, but you know, not in like the nice setup that he has going on here. And then you have this other one that's like a bowl too, right? That he
Yeah, I
said.
have bowls, gongs, every one of these instruments. I travel all over the world looking for ways to help and heal myself, and sound is a big thing. Sound changed my life, and everything that you see back here, whether it be the triangle or everything it's tuned to kind of release energy or unblock things that I might be holding on to. And so I come in here and I play for 20-30 minutes, and I feel like I'm floating and brand new again, and I go do what I need to do, you know? So
Yeah.
I teach sound in my class because I want people to understand that the sound that they're listening to on the radio is not the sound that is going to keep you alive and thriving. It's all recorded at a certain level. It
That's
keeps us
true.
all in a coma. It all
That's
sounds the
true.
same. So
Especially
you need to
nowadays.
have
I think 70s music, we had a little bit more variation, you
70s and
know?
80s
70s,
was good.
yeah, and 80s. But, you know, yeah, we lost that. Now it's like all like robotic. It's like, okay,
Oh,
here comes the lyrics, and then here comes the next line in the music. I know, it's so robotic now. I'm
it
just like,
is.
I miss the 70s and 80s music. I'm like, we need to bring that generation back,
Yeah.
just to have the variation. And the
Yeah.
poetic essence was totally different. There was a lot of poetry and, you know,
Yeah.
early songwriters. And now people just buy songs from other artists and just remake them. That's all they do.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, that's, you don't have the same emotion behind it, you know?
Nope. No, the
So
storytelling is definitely changed for sure. The emotion behind the song, and it's very hard to connect when everybody sounds the same. Every beat sounds the same. Every melody sounds almost the same. Like you don't know who Taylor Swift is or Ariana
yeah,
Grande is or
that's
Rihanna. They
true.
all sound the same.
They do.
So
It's like, who is this? Yeah, I don't know.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Did so and so
We'll
say
get
this?
back there. We'll
Yeah.
get back there. The people speak. There's
Yeah,
hope for
definitely.
us.
Yeah, we will. So, what was I going to say? I was going to lead us on. Let's see. So um, you do exercises and breath work, because I've been a part of with you on that with Altar Call. Tell us a little bit about
Mhm.
Altar Call. What's the direction? Why did it form? You know,
Yeah, so I have a really good business partner of mine that I've known for about 15 years, and at the time I got to know him, we were on a different path together. He was developing a nutrition company. My wife and I joined that nutrition company. We took that company collectively, the entire team, from a couple $1 million a year to now it's done over 2 billion in sales in 16 countries. So I was part of all of that. Ryan was one of the key people involved in that movement to help create this idea of transforming people's lives through unique energy products and health products. And so we kind of just started growing, and everybody kind of goes their separate ways because of the growth. There was
life?
just so much of
Yeah.
it, and everybody just kind of fell into their own place. Ryan went to a period in his life where there was a lot of trauma in his life. He was dealing with his mother, who was in and out of a coma for a few years. His son was born with autism. His personal relationships weren't all that great. Business was kind of going up and down. And he went to a really dark place. And in that dark place for 2 years, almost 3 years, he separated himself from the world and went to work on himself.
Yeah.
And he immersed as a new person 3 years later. And back in October of last year, 2019, him and I got back together because he saw I was doing sound work, and he invited me to come out to his house in Hollywood Hills. And the idea of this creating a movement around altar call, which is literally altar meaning to change, and call is your calling to change.
Yeah. Like that.
This whole idea of altar call that he had when he was in this dark place that he had already come up with, I just added another level of what he wanted to teach and bring to the world. And so since October of last year. So Altar Call has been doing events online and in person, more online now.
Yeah.
And we're doing meditation. We're on today will be like day 96
I
or
don't
something
know.
like
I'll
that.
be there today. Yes,
Oh,
I'll be
awesome.
there today. I've been missing
Day
it because,
96.
well, my dog, she disappeared. Like she was just gone from my house,
Yeah.
and we live on quite a bit of acres here, and so I'm like, how did she just disappear? I was like, what happened to her? She's really little. She's only 4-pound Yorkshire, so
Oh,
I'm like, maybe
okay. We have a small
something
one.
ate her or something. I don't know. She's 15, but she's still in really good health. And so I'm like, I don't know where my dog went. She's just gone. And come to find out, I don't know how. I knew the UPS guy came, and then the next thing I know, somebody found her on River Road 4 days later, or whatever, 2 days later. And so that's why I missed like the altar call earlier in the week, because I'm trying to look for my dog, right? And then we had the message of hope. I've had a couple, that can only meet around that time. So I was like, turn it, I'm missing my breath work. I'm missing my prayer. I'm like, I need to, get back in there. So I'm excited to be there today.
Yes. So Altar Call is just a beautiful project to help people tap into and transform their lives. And so we have a bunch of different modalities that we teach. Everything from meditation to prayer to breath work to principles, values, things like that, and put together curriculum that lasts over a year. And it's just a great movement. And at this time, it's beautiful because a lot of people are coming from all over the world to be part of our morning meditations. And it's just awesome. So I love being part of that project. I love help facilitate that with Ryan, and to see what he's gone through and the growth that he's had is just beautiful. So we're all growing. If we're not growing, we're dying. So I get the opportunity to grow every day, just like you do, just like Ryan does, everybody does. You guys that are listening and watching, we all have an opportunity. We all have the ability to make a choice. And that choice you make is your choice. So if you want to be happy, you can be happy. If you want to be mad, you can be mad. If you want to grow, you can grow. If you want to stay stagnant, you can stay stagnant. If you want to be depressed, you can be depressed. So once you realize that, then be careful of what you're choosing. And
be careful what you wish for, right? That's what we covered a little earlier. Yeah, be careful what you wish for.
I mean, just be careful, because whatever you're feeling, because energy is a feeling and energy is everywhere. Whatever you're feeling, whatever you're focusing in on, it's going to present itself.
Yeah, definitely.
So if you want to be in a state where you're around abundance in all aspects of your life, whether it be with your relationships, with career, with money, whatever it is, then put yourself in that energy. If you want to be in a place where, I don't know, why does this keep happening to me, and what's going on with this COVID thing, and why is Trump doing this, whatever it is for you, then stay there. I mean, don't get mad at other people when they're in a positive state. Like, I have a lot of haters, because I'm so freaking positive. Like, oh my God, there goes Tony again. Look at him. He's in his Jeep by the river playing his little drum.
I can see that. I can see that. Tony's on vacation again. Why is he on vacation again?
Yeah.
What is he doing? He's at work. It's like, no, you're in a totally different place. You're in a totally different lifestyle. So, I mean, when I was doing a lot of traveling too, I would get some of that too. It's like, when are you ever home? Where are you going now? It's like, well, I built my life for the last, let's say 20 years around this. Like I reprogrammed this in my mindset. I said, my kids are always going to be homeschooled, so I can take them wherever I want, whenever I want, because I'm not going to be stuck on somebody else's timeline. I want to be on my own timeline. And so I made that choice very early on in my early 20s.
Good.
And I just kept growing it, and that's what you have to do. You have to make a stand where you're just, I want to live this kind of lifestyle, and start building toward it, and you will get there. That's also with businesses too. Don't give up on your business. If you truly love it and truly passionate about it, it will get to the next level. You just need to keep growing, keep learning, and never give up. You only have failure once you give up. When you say, is enough, I'm going to go do something else. So Tony, where can people reach out to you to get into your what is it, the 5 pillars? Is that what your program's called?
I just started a class. Last night was actually the first class we did for another group, but I'll do them all the time. But you can just go to TonyLucero.com. TonyLucero.com. That's my website. You can see who I am there. I'm on the Facebook, so if you want to find me on Facebook, you can just Tony Lucero on Facebook. I try to keep everything branded just like you do. You're amazing at it, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
And let's see what else. And then on Instagram, I am Tony Lucero on Instagram. So that on Instagram, I depict more of my life. Yeah. So I am Tony Lucero on Instagram, and, just reach out if you have any questions about anything that we've talked about. I'd love to share with, my feeling with you. Again, I'm here to help and heal people for the next 100 years of my life, whatever time I've been given. That's what I'm going to do. And as long as I stay in that lane, as long as I stay, I'm going to help and heal
Put the
people, because
blinders
I will
on.
have abundance in my life. I will, in all areas of my life. So if you're listening to this, what is your passion? Find it. You can earn an income, believe it or not, and a lifestyle, and be happy if you stay in your lane. If you don't, if you're just making money to pay bills and you're truly not passionate about it, you're always going to be kind of like in a holding pattern. Find out what you love to do, stay in it, because there's hope for you yet. Don't give up on yourself.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, I love that. So I was going to ask you if there's any parting words that you like to say.
Yeah.
That was pretty strong. Is there anything else that you like to just to uplift people, or just a quote or something?
No, my quote on my book is, discovery is the first step to mastery. Discovery is the first step to mastery. So I want you always to be in a place where you're discovering something new. And in that newness, in those discoveries, those little treasures that you find, whether they be about yourself or about whatever you're seeking, you start to master something. You start to master your energy, your life, everything. So I want you always to be coming from a place of discovering something new, right? Forgetting the old, it's already happened, right? It's done. There's nothing to do, but discovering something new. And in that will keep you fresh, keep you energetically high, keep you moving, keep you thriving. And that's what I want for everybody. Discover something new every single day.
I like that. Yeah. Cause it'll keep you growing too. You can never die if you're always learning something new, and it keeps you excited too. And it really also makes you feel like, wow, there's so much more that I have to know. There's so much more out there that I didn't know, or that even, was in my eyesight. I didn't even see it until I took that step. So thank you, Tony, for coming
You're welcome.
on.
Thank you so much.
Being amazing, like always. And I'll see you soon at Altar Call and everywhere else that we go from here on out. All our future adventures together. I'm excited. I've already seen Tony at 2 events, I think. So yeah, I'm excited to see what other things that, manifest in the future out of our whole network and universe here. Thank you again, Tony. You guys are, been amazing. Here we've had a good turnout on the live, surprisingly, considering it is 10:56 here on East Coast. Thank you guys for tuning in to Behind the Scenes Live. You can see the replay on this live by going to amina.media in your browser. That'll take you over to the YouTube channel to see all these message of hope, struggle to success stories. You are listening to episode 17 on the series. And you can also listen to this on the One Up podcast. To get to those channels, we're on 8 networks now. So to get to those channels, you can go to Anchor, like a boat anchor.fm/oneup. Again, that's anchor.fm/oneup to get to your favorite broadcast station. Thank you again, guys. Thank you again, Tony, and I'll see you soon.
All right. Can't wait.
All right. Take care.